Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of NROL 145 mission launch from West Coast, that is from the pad Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. We hope you all are doing fine and excited about the upcoming SpaceX launch. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Deeptu Mehta. I'll be your host providing commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder Live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
Today's mission is NROL 145 for National Reconnaissance Office, also referred to as the NRO. We are awaiting for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 5:29 a.m. Pacific time from Vandenberg Space Force Base for SpaceX launching NROL 145 mission following a southeast trajectory. This is the NRO's 10th proliferated architecture reconnaissance satellite launch and the 4th of this year. The NROL-174 launch on April 16 at 1933 hours UTC from Space Launch Complex 8 at Vandenberg was not including any proliferated architecture reconnaissance satellite, meaning that it was a fully classified NRO payload launch with 2 payloads on board. The Minotaur 4 rocket launch from Space Launch Complex 8 marked the first use of the pad in 14 years. And with today's mission, it's the third NRO launch in just over a week. The proliferated architecture is a constellation of different spy and relay satellites based on SpaceX's Starshield. Also, it's a joint venture of SpaceX and Northrop Grumman building the payload together. Now, before moving on to the details, firstly, on behalf of AstroYonder team and our awesome moderators, we express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone for being a part of today's launch. We really appreciate you being here. A big thanks to our amazing YouTube community for being here today as we provide detailed coverage of space launches and events, complete with extensive stats and thorough insights. We are glad that you guys are here with us today. Right now, we are thrilled to bring you the coverage of NROL-145 launch, marking the 44th Falcon 9 launch and SpaceX's 46th launch of this year. This launch also marks the NRO's 79th launch since public disclosure of launches which began back in December 1996. This mission also marks the 15th NRO launch on a Falcon 9. Just a heads up, it's me running the show for our launch coverages. So if we hit any technical issues, hang tight, but nothing to worry about that. I will do my best to walk you through the Falcon 9 rocket launch happening in approximately 42 minutes from now. Now, before getting into the mission details, would like to welcome Pop Ripika, one of our moderators here, and also I must say an early bird today. Thanks, Pop Ripika, for joining us such early in the morning. And today I was thinking that later on I will be texting you, but today do keep an eye on the payload details which I will be mentioning. Although the payload details will be similar, it's like the similar earlier proliferated architecture, but we have some surprises for you guys. So stay back for the payload details description. So now let's get back to today's mission. So far, SpaceX reports that the weather is looking good for today's Falcon 9 launch opportunity, and the range is ready to support. The forecast calls for a temperature of 10.5 degrees centigrade Celsius, 65% cloud cover, and a wind speed of 9 miles per hour. Once again, just to remind you guys, SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Vandenberg at 5:29 a.m. Pacific Time, 8:29 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, April 20th. But if for some reason we don't have the launch today, we do have an additional opportunity tomorrow. That is Monday, April 21st, with the launch window opening at 5:08 a.m. Pacific Time, 8:08 a.m. Eastern Time. So now let's get back and talk about the payload details. Today's mission is the NRO-145 for National Reconnaissance Office, also referred to as the NRO. This mission carries the national security payload design, built and operated by the National Reconnaissance Office. This will be the 10th operational launch of NRO's new proliferated architecture. We don't have any images of the payload as it's a classified mission, but on your screen you can see some declassified images of NROL-129, early SOS satellites, NROL-111 payload, images of Starshield, and some old declassified images of the NRO payload, just to provide you some context. All the previous consecutive 9 proliferated architecture missions took flight on Falcon 9. Out of those, 3 took place this year. The NROL-153 in January, NROL-57 in March, and the recent NROL-192 in April of this year. This is the 10th batch of NRO's new imaging satellite constellation built by SpaceX and Northrop Grumman. The satellites were built under a classified $1.8 billion contract awarded by the NRO in 2021 to SpaceX and Northrop Grumman. Just a second, I have something to share with you guys over here. Today's mission is the NRO's first proliferated mission in partnership with the USSF Space System Command under the National Security Space Launch, that is NSSL Phase 3 Lane 1 contract. And in this Phase 3 Lane 1 contract, nearly most of the launches were being awarded to the SpaceX. So today's mission is the first one of that contract. Just give me a second, let me keep it for future reference. Now, according to some sources, the satellites will have an inclination of around 69.7 to 70 degrees with low Earth orbit altitude of being 310 kilometers approximately, but this is not officially confirmed. Part of NROL-145 mission likely consists of several Starshield satellites, or perhaps all the satellites are Starshield, but we can't say for sure as there is limited disclosure about the payload details. But some sources mention that approximately 22 Starshield or plus at maybe some Starlink satellites are going to be launched. Again, this has not been confirmed by SpaceX, Northrop Grumman, or the National Reconnaissance Office. Further payload details for this mission is unknown due to the classified nature of the NRO. We don't know about how many satellites will launch on this NRO mission or the projected size of the new constellation. This satellite delivers intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, acronymed as ISR. In military operation, ISR plays a critical role. It involves gathering information about enemy forces, battlefield conditions, and other relevant intelligence. ISR operation encompasses complex technologies, tools, and techniques used for the surveillance and reconnaissance. Land, sea, air, and space platforms all contribute to the ISR efforts in supporting operations. And I hope you guys enjoyed these old declassified NRO payload images. Had to do a lot of research to find this out for you guys. Actually, I was having these images for you guys to show, but was not getting time to make them presentable on a stream. Today, somehow I had time because from yesterday I'm not sleeping. Already covered three streams previously for the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft return. Now this one is the fourth one in a day. I'm covering a stream. So let this one get done and let's get to the booster details supporting today's mission. The booster with tail number 1082 supporting today's mission. A teenage booster with 11 previous flights in its record, including 2 non-Starlink missions, one Web Launch 20, and a national security mission, that is USSF 62. And additionally, this booster supported 9 Starlink missions. Now this booster is awaiting its 12th flight just minutes away. The last mission supported by today's booster was Starlink 15-1 on February. Please excuse me. On February 22nd of this year, the booster's turnaround time as of today is 56 days. Interestingly, today's mission will be the 12th consecutive launch of this booster from Slick 4 East at Vandenberg, with previous 9 landings on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship and 2 on landing zone 4. So today this booster will be having its 10th landing supporting this mission here at the west coast on the, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. Well, Pop Topeka, yes, it is available on the web, these images. Also, I did got them long time back, but as I said, I was not getting time to make it presentable and uh, in a good way to show you guys on the stream. So today I found time as I'm still awake after finishing this stream, I will be having some sleep. So I didn't sleep purposely because if I will be sleeping once and I won't be able to cover this stream. So for that, I got some extra time and I got to make these slides for you guys to show. And really, they are fascinating. Hope in future we will be getting the declassified images from the NRO of these launches which we are covering, the proliferated architecture satellites. Now let's have a look at the bar graph showing number of Falcon 9 launches each year. Before today's launch, SpaceX completed its 43rd Falcon 9 launch for this year with the Starlink Group 6-73 mission launch from Cape Canaveral in Florida on 14th of April, obscuring the number of annual launches made till year 2021, now having 12 more than launches made in 2021. With today's launch of NROL-145 mission, the bar graph depicts 44 Falcon 9 launches for 2025. SpaceX is now less than halfway to the number of launches made in year 2022. Now we'll be having 17 less number of launches from that with today's mission. Previously, SpaceX completed 132 launches of Falcon 9 last year, marking a year with the highest annual launches to date for SpaceX. According to a previous Elon's tweet, possibly we could see around 180 Falcon 9 launches this year. Now, I'm skipping the pre-launch timeline as it's a typical Falcon 9 launch. Just mentioning the difference, what will be happening in today's pre-launch timeline. And also for a quick knowledge, the strong back reclining process at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center differs from here at Vandenberg. Here at Vandenberg, we will be reclining the strong back 13 degrees away from the Falcon 9, whereas at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, we recline it about a degree and a half. So that's only the difference in today's pre-launch timeline, which I thought it's worth mentioning. Now again, just a reminder, SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Vandenberg at 5:29 a.m. Pacific Time, 8:29 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, April 20th. I don't know, every time I'm saying April 20th, I'm remembering it's Don Pettit's 70th birthday. It just got stuck in my mouth covering those streams and saying it again and again. Well, I guess today all of you who tuned in for the MS-26 re-entry and landing, I guess you guys noticed that they were not giving any visuals of Don Pettit after landing. Just during the extraction of him, like getting egress from the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft, we got to see him for some seconds. After that, we couldn't see him anymore. I guess he was not feeling good enough, so he got to be transferred immediately in those inflatable medical tents on site for health checkup. And also would like to remind you guys the Atlas V launch of Kuiper 1 mission is now targeting April 20th with 2 hours of launch window, which opens at 7 p.m. I guess, yes, or yes, p.m. Eastern Daytime. Now, moving on to the trajectory for today's mission. With the NRO-145 classified payload on board, the reconnaissance satellites Falcon 9 will lift off from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base for somewhat a southeasterly trajectory along the coast of Southern California, heading into its designated orbit, indicated by that green line on your screen. Although the specific orbit, trajectory, and inclination are not known for the classified nature of NRO launch, the red line you see indicates where Falcon 9 first stage will land after stage separation, just a little later leaving California's coast. This is going to be off the land landing, a drone ship landing using autonomous spaceport drone ship. Here at the West Coast, it's of course I Still Love You, supporting today's mission. This will be the 127th landing on Of Course I Still Love You drone ship to date. And some stats for the recovery. The planned booster recovery is approximately 603 kilometers, with estimated fairing recovery approximately 634 kilometers downrange. And the stage 2 debris re-entry will be in the southern Pacific Ocean after its first orbit. Currently, there are 3 in SpaceX drone ship fleet. Of the 3 drone ships, just read the instructions, and a shortfall of Gravitas are stationed in Florida at the East Coast, while Of Course I Still Love You is stationed here in California. On your screen are some of the stats related to the drone ship fleet. Now we are just 12 minutes away from the webcast to begin. While you guys have a look at these stats for the drone ship, let me have a gulp of water. Well, thanks for those inspiring words, Paprika. And it's all about, like, it's getting a little bit of kind of a craziness for me to uh, do the best I can so that I can give more added value to your viewing experience. So for that, I did those slides to present on the payload. Also would like to welcome Fairmate joining us, one of our moderator here. Today it's you both the moderators surprised me. One woke up such early, one for another Fairmate it's late at night, but still thanks for joining us. Really, now it feels that my hard work is paying off as you guys are joining me in our stream. I hope you guys are done with this SpaceX drone ship fleet stats. Now, just a reminder, as per NRO's request, we will not be getting views of the payload or the second stage, and the webcast will be ending just after the first stage landing. Now, speaking of fairing recovery, SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve the both halves of the payload fairing from the Pacific waters. The two halves of the payload fairing will be recovered further approximately 31 kilometers downrange from where the first stage lands on the drone ship after they will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. Would like to welcome Chandru Ilan Govan for joining us. I hope you are doing well, Chandru, and I also hope that you will be enjoying the stream. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Now you can see on your screen how a fairing recovery looks like. Although the recovery vessel shown on your screen is Dirk in the Atlantic, but today's supporting recovery vessel is Go Beyond here in the Pacific. Meanwhile, the other recovery vessels on the East Coast, Bob, Doug, and Go Cosmos, are currently awaiting their next assignment. Now, if you feel we are adding value to your viewing experience, kindly consider giving this stream a like. It really helps YouTube's algorithm bring in more space lovers and rocket fans to discover this stream out, helping us to build a community with amazing space enthusiasts like you. Also consider about smashing that subscribe button and turning on the bell notification as we work hard to bring you detailed stream with stats and insights. For that, we would be super grateful for your support. Now we are just 8 minutes away from the webcast to begin, so let's quickly dive into some of the stats related to today's mission launch. Today's launch marks 472nd SpaceX's overall launch. This NRO mission launch marks the 10th batch for NRO's proliferated architecture-based constellation and the 15th dedicated non-Starlink launch of this year. This mission is NRO's first proliferated mission in partnership with USSF Space System Command under the National Security Space Launch, that is NSSL Phase 3 Lane 1 contract. This is going to be the 456th Falcon 9 launch to date, the 12th flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission, with tail number 1082 being in action after 56 days. Today's mission marks 44th Falcon 9 launch and SpaceX's 46th overall launch of 2025, including 2 Starship launches. This will be 402nd Falcon booster reflight to date. That is the launch of a booster that has flown at least once before. 121st orbital launch for SpaceX, launching from Space Launch Complex 4 East, and the 188 overall orbital launch from this pad, that is Slick 4 East. Now moving on to some reusability statistics. This launch marks 386th Falcon 9 booster reflight to date. This will be the 127th landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. Twelfth landing of the first stage booster with tail number 1082. With this mission's first stage landing, SpaceX will be having 345th overall roundship landing, marking 413th Falcon 9 landing to date and 432nd SpaceX's overall landing. Speaking of landing, on your screen are some of the stats related to the drone ship landings being made prior to today's mission. So don't get confused with the numbers on your screen. This slide or the stats are prior to today's mission launch, which is not including today's mission. Now a request for you guys, once again, hitting that like button helps YouTube's algorithm catch the drift and bring more space lovers and rocket buffs our way, helping us to build a community with amazing space enthusiasts like you. So please consider liking this stream and subscribing to us. Your support means the world to us, which inspires us to work more hard to provide live coverages filled with stats and thorough insights. Now let's have a look into some key stats for SpaceX launches in this year, including today's mission. With today's mission, SpaceX will be having its 46th launch of this year, and out of those, 29 were Starlink missions, 15 are non-Starlink mission for commercial and government organizations, including today's one and 2 Starship launches. 42 of these missions use a reused booster, including today's one. Now, if we look into the geographical distribution, we get they have 29 launches from East Coast. On the West Coast, with today's mission, they will be having 15 launches, that is from PAD Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base. As of now, 2 launches from Gulf Coast at Starbase in Texas, with Starship's 7th and 8th test flights and 2 super heavy booster catches for those test flights. For landings, they will be nailing it for the 42nd time this year. Most of the landings are on drone ship with 35 landings. As of now, in the drone ship fleet, a shortfall of Gravitas is leading with 13 landings being made already. And for ground landings, they pulled off 7 times this year, where landing zone 1 had 3 landings and landing zone 4 witnessed 4 landings. Now, in the upcoming Bandwagon 3 mission, the landing zone 2 will be having its first landing for this year. Prior to today's launch, the success rate for ground landing is 98.86%. For drone ship landings, it is 96.63%, and the overall landing success rate is 97.07%. Today's mission is the 108th launch since last mission failure, that is the Starlink 9-3 mission. Once again, this page of stats are prior to today's launch. 107 successful launches since last mission failure with Starlink 9-3 mission. 17 successful landings since last landing failure with 12-20. Booster with tail number 1067 having the highest number of flights and successful landings, that is 27 times. 321 missions with at least one reused fairing, and approximately 610 number of fairing halves were reused prior to today's launch. Moving on to this year's orbital launches, including today's one. With this 80th orbital launch of this year, United States is leading with 51 launches, followed by China with 20 launches, Russia with 5 launches, 1 launch each by India, Japan, and Europe with 2 launches. Now this pie chart showing us 2025 orbital launches by rocket variations, including today's launch. Falcon 9 is about to have its 44th launch, and I guess it's time for the webcast to begin. So let me just quickly check in. Well, it started. They are playing some pre-stream music right now. So now let's move ahead as it's time for the webcast to begin. And let me just quickly set up the stream for you guys. Adding value to your viewing experience here at AstroYonder is our top priority. If you feel we somewhat achieved that, please consider liking this stream. It really helps YouTube's algorithm bring in more space fans and helps others to find this stream. Also consider subscribing to our channel as we work hard to bring you stream packed with stats, details, and insights. We would be incredibly grateful for your support. Now, once again, just a reminder, as per NRO's request, we will not be getting views of the payload or the second stage, and the webcast will be ending just after the first stage landing. The stream is already started. Let that audio feed from them to come to be audible and be patching that audio feed for you guys then.
Good morning and welcome to the NROL-145 launch webcast. The Falcon 9 rocket on your screen is currently awaiting liftoff from Space Launch Complex 4 East, or SLIC 4E, at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California in just a little over 8 minutes from now. Hey everyone, my name is Tomishri Vastava and I am a heat shield engineer here at SpaceX.
And I'm Annie Tway, a recovery operations engineer here at SpaceX. This mission carries a national security payload designed, built, and operated by the National Reconnaissance Office, or NRO. Today's mission is the first in collaboration with the U.S. Space Force, Space Systems Command. It's launching only 6 months after the first October 2024 announcement that Falcon 9 will launch new national security missions under Phase 3, Lane 1 task orders.
Phase 3 Lane 1 enables an ongoing presence of reliable services and resilient launch architecture, assuring access to space for important national security missions. And it continues the NRO's cutting-edge capability of building and developing the U.S. government's largest satellite constellation in history to deliver critical information that can only be obtained from the vantage point of space.
Today's mission marks SpaceX's 472nd overall launch, the 44th launch of 2024, and the 15th NRO launch on a Falcon 9. Both the range and vehicle are currently looking green, and we are on track for an on-time liftoff.
We did got the call out for the engine chill of the 9 Marine 1D engines. Now, yes, Puerto Rico is a cloudy day with 65% of cloud cover, and it's quite foggy, I guess, is there. That's why we are not able to see the Falcon 9, barely seeing the Falcon 9 structure.
It's also the first orbital class rocket capable of reflight.
In fact, this will be the 12th flight of the first stage booster supporting this mission, which previously launched
RP1 load is complete.
USSF 62, 1 Webb Launch 20, and 9 Starlink missions. And today, the booster will be attempting to land on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is currently stationed out in the Pacific Ocean.
Falcon's reusability provides rapid and reliable readiness, allowing SpaceX to launch critical national security missions and deliver assured access to space in collaboration with our defense customers. Falcon's reusability also leads to lower costs.
When the costs are lower, both government and commercial customers can launch more missions, which helps accelerate development. All of this is to say, reusability is the key innovation that is making space more accessible.
Back to today's mission, both the weather and the vehicle continue to look good for today's launch. Coming up shortly, the Transporter Erector, or TE, will retract away from the Falcon rocket. The TE is the large truss structure you see there standing next to the vehicle.
Tanks are pressing for strongback retract.
We did got the call out there. We will be now pressurizing those tanks with adding some gas so that we can have those clamp arms underneath the payload fairings can open up. Once again, just a reminder, today's NRO
with umbilicals or flexible
we got the call out that the strong battery track process is started. Once again, just a reminder that NROL-145 mission also marks the NRO's 79th launch since public disclosure of the launches, which began back in December 1996. And this mission also marks the 15th NRO launch on a Falcon 9.
We don't have a great view of this right now because of the fog, but the clamp arms around the vehicle should be opening up and the strongback retract should be happening. But at this point in the countdown, both the first and second stages are nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of rocket-grade kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. Both the first and second stages should finish propellant loading about a minute apart from each other, with the first stage finishing up at the T-3 minute mark and the second stage finishing at around T-2 minutes.
It will be hard to see this morning, but there usually are white clouds that form around the vehicle. These clouds are comprised of...
I would like to welcome Spaceman joining us. Thanks for tuning in, Spaceman. And that's a nice and interesting question. As per my limited knowledge, we did got those call out for stage 1 lost load completion.
And at T-60 seconds, Falcon 9 will be in startup, and this means that the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers will have taken over the launch countdown. After that, just inside of T-2 seconds...
Actually, it's a quite relative question. It depends on the weather conditions, how bad it is. If it will be extremely bad, including the recovery conditions for the booster recovery, they will be scrubbing, but in a case they can still manage, but up to how far they can push, that is unknown. And that is the point we can say the relaxation they can provide for the Falcon 9 launches for the NRO. We are now currently waiting for stage 2 LOX load.
LOX load is complete.
And there we go. We got the call out. Stage to launch is complete. All the propellant are now on board the Falcon 9 with 1 million pounds of propellant. Now we will be beginning to vent down the pressure that was in the tubing of the strong back. Today, yes, we are still getting those white clouds there coming out. Now we got the call out for ground gas closeout. We are now bleeding the pressure off, and that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist humid air, which gives us those nice white cloud, an indicator of launch coming up.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Right on time, Falcon 9 flight computers on both the stages are running the rocket to the last minute of count. Now let's listen to the go callouts.
LD is go for launch.
There we go, SpaceX launch director giving go for the launch. We are coming at T minus 36 seconds. All systems continue to remain go for the launch of Falcon 9 and the NRO payload. Don't send me to space, spaceman. At least not right now.
T minus 15 seconds.
Now let's sit back and enjoy the launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of the Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go NROL-145.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
We have a successful liftoff. Falcon 9 has cleared a tower. We are into T plus 26 seconds into the flight, on its way with NRO's classified payload into low Earth orbit. We got good call out already. One of that is the propulsion is nominal.
Vandenberg Space Force Base in
Now we will be waiting for some good other.
Telemetry nominal.
And there we go. This call out I was talking about, power and telemetry nominal. Right now the vehicle is supersonic. We exceeded Mach 1 on the Falcon 9. It's faster than the speed of sound as we have gone supersonic. We are right now throttling down the 9 Merlin engines.
Good call out there for Max Q, which
And
again is when the
we
vehicle
got the
is
call out for
fully
Max
accelerated.
Q. We are through the period of maximum
Coming up
stress
next,
on the
we have
vehicle.
startup and
We
landing.
have throttled
Exit
back
section starting
the
with MECO,
Merlin
followed
engines
by
back up to
stage
full
separation
power.
and SES-1.
Next call out expected is for the MVAC engine chill.
M1D engines shut down to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation, which is where the first stage separates from the second stage, followed by this.
MVAC chill.
And you heard the call out. We started the process of chilling down the MVAC engine on the second stage prior to its ignition just after stage separation. Coming up, 3 events in rapid succession: the shutdown of main engine on the first stage, that is main engine cutoff, MECO, followed by stage separation and ignition of the second stage MVAC engine for the first time in today's flight, also known as SES-1, which will boost the payload into low Earth orbit. So let's hear those call out.
We will not have any views of the Falcon 9 second stage or the payload at the request of our customer.
Quite an amazing view from the Falcon 9 first stage.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
We just got all the call outs for all the back-to-back events. Right now on your screen you can see those nitrogen thrusters is now beginning to reorient the first stage, and the 4 hypersonic titanium grid fins started to slowly begin deploying by the command issued by the flight computer. Now that the stage separation is successful, and we did got the call out for successful fairing separation.
3 minutes from now will be entry burn of the Falcon 9 booster as it continues its journey towards drone ship Of Course I Still Love You stationed in the Pacific Ocean. To start the entry burn, we will relight 3 M1D engines, which is similar to pumping the brakes to slow down the vehicle as it passes back into Earth's atmosphere. We need to slow down the vehicle to reduce...
Right now, the first stage will continue to rise towards the apogee before descending back towards the landing site on the drone ship. Of course, I Still Love You, stationed in the Pacific Ocean. Second stage, meanwhile, in the middle of its 6-minute burn, is on its way into the parking orbit with a payload of reconnaissance satellites on board.
Nominal trajectories.
So, good call out. Both vehicles are on a nominal trajectory. Up until now, the launch has been excellent and smooth. The first stage has completed its task and is en route back. The second stage operating at maximum capacity, and we are getting spectacular views, although not so much, but still not bad. From the first stage only, we are not getting the views from the second stage as per the NRO's request. Currently, we are preparing for the first stage to make its return to the drone ship landing site. During this part of the flight, it solely relies on its great fins for the steering as it returns to Earth. The great fin helps reorient the Falcon 9 during re-entry and guide its descent. While we are currently viewing the first stage, you may occasionally see bursts of nitrogen gas from the first stage for attitude control, and by attitude I mean the orientation, and these are basically used to position the vehicle as it heads back towards the drone ship for its landing. Now the expected next call out will be for stage 1 entry burn startup. Well, we are getting a little bit of those view of the Earth sunrise there, and we can see that thin layer of atmosphere. So we will be hearing the call out. We are expecting the next call out for the stage 1 entry burn startup, and that burn will just will be lasting just around 21 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's a confirmation. We just lit 3 of the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. Right now we are rapidly slowing down the vehicle as it enters the Earth's atmosphere, and this burn should last just around 21 seconds, as I said.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there we go. There's a confirmation of shutdown of the entry burn on the first stage. Now the Falcon 9 first stage will be heading back to its landing site on the drone ship.
And coming up next will be the first stage landing burn.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
Which should
Stage 1 FTS has been saved call out. It means the re-entry burn for stage 1 has been accomplished successfully. If we will be hearing the call out for stage 2 FTS being saved, which means that the orbital insertion burn is complete at that point. Next expected call out will be the stage 1 being transonic.
Stage 1 transonic.
There we go. We just heard the call out. Stage 1 traveling slower than the speed of sound as it heads back towards the landing. Speaking of landing, we are just about less than 60 seconds away from that. We did got call out for stage 2 FTS being saved as well, which means that the orbital insertion burn is accomplished successfully. Next call out, stage 1 landing burn. There we go. Great views of the landing burn with the center E9 engine now lit. We are slowing down the vehicle rapidly. Should be seeing those landing legs deploy any seconds now.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Landing legs deployed.
Landing confirmed.
And there you have it. We successfully made the 413th landing of an orbital class Falcon 9 rocket. Coming up next, we will have the second stage engine cutoff, that is SECO 1, and following that event, we will enter into about 44 minutes of coast phase as a vehicle ascends to its target orbit. We did got the call out for MVAC shutdown, that is SECO 1.
If you're interested in more launch coverage, be sure to check out spacex.com.
Now, with that, let's wrap up our stream. Today's launch marks SpaceX's 472nd successful mission, with their landing marking 432nd success. Before wrapping up the stream, would like to thank all of you for wherever you were watching our live coverages. Would like to thank our moderators, Fairmaid and Pop Topeka, for joining us. Both made me surprised. One is awake late at night, one woke up early, but thanks for surprising me. And thanks for being there with me on the stream. We really can't do this broadcast without you. Thanks for your continued support for what we do here at AstroYonder. Also would like to welcome Spaceman today, who joined us for the first time. Thanks for tuning in, Spaceman, and I hope you will be having a nice day ahead. Now, be sure to check out our social media handle on X for the latest happenings in space industry and updates on upcoming launches. I guess the link got posted on the chat. We really appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Wishing you all a nice week ahead. Once again, thanks for watching. This is AstroYonder Live and me, Dipto, sign off for now, and we will see you next time.